Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to KongaCast, where we discuss all things video games, especially relating to Nintendo. I'm your host, Ryan, and I'm joined today with my buddy, Adonis. Say hello, Adonis.
Hello. We got a great show ahead of us. We anticipated a good show last week, and we may not have hyped it up enough. There's a whole
Yeah,
lot
dude.
going on today.
Yeah, so this episode will pretty much solely be directed towards the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, which just aired April 2nd. If you are listening to this, it has happened already. We have been blessed by the Nintendo gods with all of the gloriousness that is the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I don't think there's I don't think it's like a 10 out of 10 reveal. There's certainly some concerns I have about the device and the software lineup, but by and large, this was a fantastic reveal. We got our first look at so many new software. Mario Kart World we already knew about, but now it has a title, Mario Kart World. It looks incredible. We got confirmation of a new DK game that is a 3D platformer. We got confirmation that Elden Ring is coming to the device. We got confirmation that a whole new From Software IP is coming to the device. We have so many third-party games coming on board. So whole lot to get into. So why don't we just start, Adonis, from the top, or should we just do general? What was your just general impressions of the direct?
Let me just paint this picture, okay? I'm in the car. I'm like, you know what? I'll listen to the Nintendo Direct on the drive to work. Little did I know that would be a threat to my safety for how much hype there was behind all of the things that I heard. And I got as fast as I could to my destination just to make sure I was also going to be able to see what I was hearing.
Just
I
parked and ready.
I was on so in New Jersey we have this really popular highway called 295. I was on 295 listening to this direct, a very major highway. It was literally a threat to my safety, the amount of hype I was feeling in these
Careful.
moments.
Goodness.
I got there safe. Everything was fine. Um, yeah, I guess, we can start off with the stuff that we've been waiting to talk about for a super long time, and that is the technical aspects of the Switch, of which I was very impressed by.
Yeah, so some of the features that we were shown was confirmation of 4K support, confirmation of the possibility of 120 frames per second refresh rate, HDR support, 256 gigabytes of internal storage, USB camera support, slew of other stuff like that. And we got to look at the Joy-Con 2, as they're calling it, which has more tech in it, better speakers, it has a microphone. Also, probably the biggest feature that the new Joy-Con have are the mouse mode that we've already had like soft confirmation on. And that was shown off, and that was shown off in a couple different new software and stuff like that too. So, all in all, the package seems good. I mean, I'm not like a tech expert. I couldn't tell you like what this would compare to, but just the fact that 4K support is there, 120 frames per second support is there. As long as the GPU, CPU, and RAM function, as long as all of that is good, I couldn't tell you if it's good or not. I'm not really an expert on this, but if that is capable enough, we should see a bunch of different games getting to that 4K 60 frame per second support with some variability. Some developers might prefer 60 frames per second while focusing on 1080. Others might focus on 4K and 30 frames per second. Other developers might just be able to really harness the power of this device and get both. We'll get into Metroid Prime 4 at some point, but there is a 4K 60 frames per second option with the Switch 2 version of the game, which is so glorious. So I'm encouraged by it. It seems like Nintendo, especially, will be able to tap into this hardware from the get-go. I think third parties might be a little bit laggy to getting the most out of this device, but that's not too uncommon with a new hardware reveal.
Yeah, I definitely think I'm in total agreement. For me, it feels like the 120 frames per second is going to be locked for a while to Nintendo and Nintendo adjacents, just because they're so used to the software and the hardware. They've been developing on it for many years, Nintendo especially. I feel like we're going to get a lot of 120 frames per second support on Nintendo specific games.
Yeah.
Um, or, like I said, Nintendo adjacents. That's impressive. I am very impressed by that. Now, this is games that are not necessarily on the scale of current day hardware. Like, you're not going to be catching Elden Ring at 60, maybe not even. So definitely not at 120 frames per second. Maybe not even 60 frames per second, because that's just a bigger game, more for the console to handle. Who knows? I
Mhm.
could be wrong. It could end up being available for both, which would be super cool, and I'd be very impressed. There's one thing kind of lagging behind for me. Everything about it is great. I loved every single bit of all of the technology shown off, the voice chat, the Joy-Con. The voice chat's
Yeah.
definitely not going to be that good, by the way. The the Joy-Cons, HDR, 4K support, the camera, all of that's awesome. But I don't remember if we heard anything about battery life. Did you? Did we?
I was reading online, they said 2 to 6 hours depending on the software, which is such a big range. I don't really know what to make of that right now, you know?
Yeah, so to me, it sounds like, if you're running a game at the 120 frames per second mode, or you're playing just a really graphically and system intensive game, it's going to drain your battery life around that 2 hours. But if you're playing something
Yeah.
more simple, like up to 6 hours, that's to be expected. Not great
For
battery life, but I
for
don't
reference,
really.
like when I'm playing Steam Deck and I've been playing Red Dead 2 lately, I can get like 2 hours out of that on my Steam Deck. If I'm playing a Game Boy Advance game that I'm emulating, I can get like 12 hours. So
Yeah.
I mean it probably just completely depends on the software you're playing, you know.
Yeah, and that's not too big of a deal to me. I would rather, if I had to make a choice, which functionally we are, and Nintendo already has, I want better performance for less battery life. Like if that's gonna, and they want to maintain that sleek style. Like they want the skinny, like it said it hasn't gotten any thicker. It's just gotten wider, um, which I was surprised by. I thought for sure it would get at least like an inch thicker. This is getting into a weird conversation area, so I'm gonna move on. Uh, and so the hardware hasn't at all really changed that much, other than the screen getting wider and the Joy Cons getting a little bigger. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
this is all great stuff, and I am actually more so impressed than I thought I would be.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, so before we get into the price though, and before we talk about games, I do want to talk more about the game chat that you were mentioning. So the um one of the big focal points of the direct early on was the game chat support. It looks like, I mean, they have a whole dedicated button on the new Joy-Con for chat. You press the button, you can link up with your friends more easily. You can chat with your friends. You don't even need to be playing the same game to be able to do that. It seems like the internet connectivity, especially with your friends, is more integrated and a bigger focus for Nintendo. I liked and was encouraged by what they were showing. You know, they had the ability to see what you're playing, but you could also see like three other screens, see what your friends are playing. I mentioned the USB camera support. You have the ability to put yourself on screen for your friends, whatever. All that's nice. In on paper. In practice, we will see what happens. This is Nintendo we're talking about. They've never had the most robust internet infrastructure. I do feel like there was a turning point somewhere around halfway through the Switch One's life where they started to take internet a little bit more seriously, but the Switch One did not have the integration from the start to really utilize it. So the fact that this was like the second thing they touched on in the whole direct, I feel like they're making it a little bit more of a focal point. So at least they're trying. You know, none of this. You need to download an app on your phone, garbage to talk with your friends. None of that they've tried with the Switch One. No friend codes. You know, nothing stupid like that. It looks like they're actually trying to build out a decent internet ecosystem, which I'm encouraged by. We will just have to wait and see like how robust it is and how accurate it is. Like, is this gonna just lag and be useless, and we're just gonna all go back to Discord when we're playing Switch? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. And I don't necessarily not have faith in them to pull it off. In fact, they've literally improved the Wi-Fi capabilities a lot with switch to Wi-Fi 5 to Wi-Fi 6. Was that what it
Yeah,
switched to?
that's right.
Yeah, so that's going to help out a lot. I probably think it'll work totally fine. There'll be glitches at first. It probably won't run as well as it will 6, 7 months after release, and beyond. I love the memes. The memes are really, really funny about the voice chat. How they're kind of like, so they had like the normal, trailer speak, like people and friends like hanging out, talking like they're in a trailer, and then they'll
It
just
was
sub
it
in.
was so. I mean, I
It was
don't know.
way
It
over
was
the
so
top.
by the book. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm playing as Kirby. Wow, he's so cute. Oh wow, he's on a warp star. It's like everyone sounded like a 4-year-old. I don't know.
Yeah, it actually felt better than usual. Like it felt like they actually had people playing the games, with like, shoehorned in like phone calls and like Blender in the background. But like people were subbing in like voice chats from other games, and then it was just like 100 people all talking at once. The memes are so good. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that works out. It's gonna be nice to have that and not what we've had in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. So, uh, we could probably just save price for later. Should we just start talking about some games, Adonis? I mean, that's what people are here for. That's why we're buying the damn device, right?
That's what it's all about, baby.
All right, let's do it. So they opened the show with Mario Kart World. This was the only game that we had seen any footage of prior to this. Before we had seen 20 seconds or so. They showed about 4 minutes of this game, and throughout the presentation, they kept referencing it each time they were showing voice chat and other stuff. So there was like probably at least 5 minutes of footage out there of this game. And wow, dude, like I didn't expect this game to blow me away as much as it did. But we already knew 24 racers per race, but they confirmed so much else that it's kind of mind blowing. It's basically an open world Mario Kart game where you have the ability to do your race. And if you're doing the Grand Prix, instead of just going into race number two, you actually drive to race number two. And there's also the ability to free roam among like all of these tracks. You can basically go anywhere on all of these tracks if you're free roaming. And you also, when you're free roaming, you have the ability to just hang out with your friends. And I feel like that just has a lot of potential to just be a lot of fun to just explore. They showed off different modes. This one new mode is basically a knockout mode. So if you get to a certain point in the race and you're not in the top 16 or the top 8, you drop out and you're eliminated. And that keeps going until there's a champion. I mean, what else, man? They showed off so many characters and it wasn't always super explicit. But if you comb through all the footage, there are some wacky characters in this game. Like you can play as the dolphin that wears goggles. You can play as the penguin from Mario Galaxy. You can play as Queen Bee again. You can play as the crab. You can play as a Goomba. Like it's just like it is a nutty amount of characters from what they've shown off. And I'm almost like, is this truly like the amount of characters, or are these like non-playable? Like it's hard for me to wrap my head around it fully. Gameplay wise, you can like grind on rails, even if you're on a bike or a car, doesn't matter. You can grind on the wall in some courses. Your car can switch from a car to a plane to a boat. This looks so beyond what I was expecting and so incredible.
I could not agree more, my friend. There's only
Nice.
one problem with this game, which we'll get into later, but man, this is what Mario Kart needed. I was like, you know what? Mario Kart's getting kind of samey. I don't really know what they could do for another version of this game.
Same.
Here it is. Here's enter Mario Kart World, where it like I love the idea of the continuous Grand Prix. That's awesome. Such a cool way to use more hardware power in Mario Kart. So awesome. I love that. But what really stuck out to me was the dolphin with goggles. I'm just kidding. It was it was the ability to just free roam. Now, I've always kind of done this on my own, kind of just like roaming around courses and noticing things in the background you don't ever notice, just
Yeah.
like appreciating the beauty of a course. I love doing that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe U or whatever it's called. The ambiance of a course, like just appreciating that has always been really enjoyable to me. And to see them embracing that in this game, in a more like gameplay oriented way, and especially social oriented way,
Yeah.
and exploring a course with your friends. That's awesome. That is so cool. That feels like such a cool way to hang out with friends and play games. Is just like run around a course, do freaking knockout, like Mario Kart Knockout, which will be so much fun to play with friends. It'll be not fun to play with you guys because I'll literally get knocked out like every single freaking race.
Oh yeah.
You guys are just absolutely locked in every time we play Mario Kart. Um, you can hang out on the courses now. You can do a one long. And now I am curious if it is locked to a 4-course Grand Prix. Can you make a custom race with like 8?
Oh.
Oh my God, that would be awesome. I just, man, just blown away.
Well, I feel like it's not even that much longer, Adonis, until we learn more about this. They did confirm that April 17th, they will be doing a whole Mario Kart Direct. So I
Right.
felt like we learned so much from this game, but I'm sure there's more we don't know. And so only in another 2 weeks, we're going to get a lot more info too, which is just also fantastic. But I agree with you on the social elements. Like it's great that they're incorporating that more instead of just like go online, do races, do battles. They have like this whole social element where you can kind of explore together, and that's integrated with the voice chat and all that stuff. So that's all really great if it all
Yeah,
works really well.
true.
I was also like you. I'm like, where do they go for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? It's like the Smash Bros. Problem to me. You already have the ultimate game. You have the most tracks, the most characters. What else do you do? But instead of like thinking, oh, more tracks, more characters, it is like just increase the scope of everything. Like these tracks are massive looking. I don't know if it's gonna like take forever to like go through the course, vanilla style, but like when you're not playing vanilla, it looks like you can just explore like crazy, find all sorts of secrets and stuff like that. And then yeah, the driving in between each race seems very enticing as well. So a lot of great things. I'm so excited for the character roster. I'm always one who thinks like the character roster is like such a overrated talking point in Mario Kart because it's like they all kind of play the same. But at this point, dude, if you're giving me the cow from Moo Moo Meadows on a moped doing tricks on a grind rail, I'm interested. All right, I'm interested in the roster. Who else has the ability to do that? Besides the cow from Moo Moo Meadows. Like this roster is going to be crazy.
Yeah, this is going to be, and it's just the natural end of evolution because, 24 characters in a race, right? Like they're going to have more characters. But I didn't know they would go this far. I was not expecting that.
Yeah. Oh, and something with the items is happening too. It looks like if you're playing as Mario or whatever, you can like take a specific item and you will transform into a costume. So I don't know if that's cosmetic or if you pick it up during the race. Like I almost like don't even want to know because I just want to like see it for myself. But knowing me, I'm gonna watch in 2 weeks and see what's what, and they'll explain it a little bit better. So, but man, this looks incredible. I didn't expect it to look this good. This is I watched this and I was already sold. Like I'm like, okay, I'm getting a Switch too. I didn't expect this to be the system seller for me, but here we are.
Yeah, here we are. I would love to spend more time talking about it, but we got a few other games to talk about.
Yeah, we gotta get cooking. So I figured we'd talk a little bit on Mario Kart because it looked so grandiose. But let's get on to some other stuff. So next game they showed off was Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which was a confusing announcement for me. But what it is,
Yeah.
it's basically like a little bit of a tech demo showcase for different things the Switch 2 can do. Think like Wii Sports, but it's even like more. I don't know what the right word. It feels like almost like a museum. Like you're walking around and you're like clicking on icons and they're telling you details about the Switch 2 and the Joy-Con 2 and stuff like that. And then they have like little tech demos as well. I wasn't really interested in this at all. I was very surprised this was not a pack-in game. It seems like a shoe-in for a pack-in game, but they specifically said it is a digital-only paid game. But it's coming out physically in Japan. So I'm like, what is the scope of this game if you're doing a physical release in Japan? I don't know. Were you interested in this one?
Tell me you were copying Astrobot without telling me you were copying Astrobot. Like, let's be honest. Nintendo, I choose you over Sony almost any day of the week, but this is not one of them. This should have been with the Switch. You bought the Switch. It should also teach you about the Switch. You
Right.
shouldn't have to pay
Yeah.
extra for that. Do I got to pay extra for a setup guide? Right? No. So yeah,
Yeah, it was weird.
this is gross. Yeah,
There's
no
other
interest in
there's
this.
other there's other like packing titles they've had in the past that are interesting to me, and I wanted to play them for their own merit, like Nintendo Land, Wii Sports, right? This didn't really do it for me. But maybe I just need to see more of it. Not too sure.
No.
So after that, they went into Switch 2 enhanced games. So they specified three different ways to play on Switch 2. You can play Switch 2 games, you can play Switch 1 games, or you can play Switch 1 games with Switch 2 enhancements. It's a very jumbled way of explaining it, but then they showed off a couple Switch 1 games that have like basically enhanced content, better graphics, that kind of stuff. Super Mario Party Jamboree, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Pokemon Legends Z to A. All of them looked better than their Switch 1 counterparts, especially Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I was like blown away watching that, and this is on YouTube where it's like compressed a little bit, but that looks so incredible. Like I
Oh yeah.
said earlier, 4K, 60 frames per second. That game looks so incredible.
Yeah, and for me, the big one is Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Hmm.
Imagine, imagine what that first dive looks like in the very beginning of the game. 4K or at like 60 frames per second. Oh man. I know you criminal emulators out there. I know you have seen it, but I haven't. So let me have this. Uh
Yeah, dude.
I can't wait to see that. And
What
I
they
love
showed off looked good with the 60 frames. It was
yeah.
immediately noticeable to me, and I was like, all right, yeah, I know there's modders that can do this already, but it's nice to have it on official hardware. Um, Interestingly, they didn't really specify what the upgrade price would be. They did specify that, I'm pretty sure they did, that there would be a price to upgrade from a Switch 1 game to this Switch 2 enhanced version. But they did specify that the two Zelda games will be free if you're on NSO expansion pack already. I would love if all the games were like that for NSO expansion pack users, but I doubt it. I guess it's going to be more selective. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. The one thing that I love the most about the game upgrades was Pokemon Legends ZA just looking absolutely no different than the second.
Yeah,
They just, they just can't figure it out over there, man.
I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, it looked better, like objectively, but I mean, with the art style that the game has, it didn't look impressive at all. Like that still looked like a game you could maybe run on a phone. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Yeah,
know. I think it's just the art style at this point. The art direction in general.
yeah,
Because
and
if you
I
have
just
that
think,
much, go ahead.
yeah, they just don't they just cannot get game optimization down. There's something going on over there that and we've seen this with other companies, right? Like they've made games just not good optimization. I also the reason I interjected, I have some good news. Select Switch game titles will receive Switch 2 patch for free with improved visual or resolution.
Yes, sir. So I think
W.
that falls in the bucket of like the Switch 1 games that can be played on Switch 2, which is going to be, 90% of Switch 1 games.
Yeah.
I imagine, I mean, they already confirmed this. Games like ARMS, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, they've already confirmed that these games will be getting patches just to, up the frame rate, up the visual fidelity, which is nice. It takes a little bit of effort to go into a game and make sure it like runs properly if you're going to change those kinds of things. So it's nice that they're putting in the effort.
Yeah. Agreed. And like I honestly think like to be honest, if I don't play Mario Kart World first, I'm gonna be playing one of these upgraded games first. I need to see what it
Yeah.
looks like immediately. Oh,
Yeah, there's
and also
there's go ahead.
the the extra content which I totally like didn't even mention is just awesome. I wish more companies would do that.
Yeah, I'm specifically excited about the Kirby and the Forgotten Land content because that game was so phenomenal, and I almost wanted a sequel or DLC right away, but we never got it. But here it is. Like here's the expansion on this game. And they didn't really tell us what's going on, but they showed off like one new mouthful mode ability and like a new map to explore. So excited about that specifically. I think the Zelda Breath of the Wild, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom enhancements are kind of a throwaway. Yes, you get better fidelity and frame rate, which is nice. I think that's kind of expected. The other concept that they're adding is like compatibility with like a mobile app to like track Korok seeds and shrines, which is like, I don't know, that's such a throwaway addition for me. I'm not going to use that at all. Super Mario Party Jamboree, that content looks great as well. What they're adding, they're adding like 3 different modes that use like the Joy-Con 2 abilities, which is like so cool. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
I like that.
That's cool.
So
That's cool.
all right, so if we are to keep going, we got a lot more games to talk about. So why don't we get into a new IP from Nintendo that was shown off? This is a game called Drag and Drive. Now, this game they were showing off dual wielding mice with the Joy-Con 2. Basically, you're controlling someone who's playing basically what looks like wheelchair basketball. You know, you're able to move the wheelchair with the 2 Joy-Con mice, and you're making your shots by pointing the Joy-Con up in the air and shooting like you're playing Wii Sports Resort basketball, something like that. Um, I wanted to like this more than I did. I mean, I was watching it, I just like wasn't like fully in love with it. It felt like when I was watching the reveal of Arms for the first time, which when that came out for the Switch 1, the trailer was, I'm watching the trailer and I get it. All right, you can move the Joy-Con like this to punch. The gameplay just looked too slow to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got the same vibe from Drag and Drive, where it's just like this just looks a little too slow. I would want, if I'm doing like a competitive, action sports game, I want something a little faster pace. I'll save all my judgment for further because maybe I just need to see more. I also just didn't love the art style. I just never really liked the, darker Tron-ish aesthetic. It's just not my thing, I guess. So I wanted to like it more than I did Adonis. It's a new IP. I love when Nintendo does new stuff, weird stuff, but I wasn't really in love with it.
Yeah, it feels to me like they tried to innovate with the Rocket League formula. And I'm not going to say it looks bad. It doesn't look bad. It just doesn't really look my speed. Like when I want to play a game like that, I want it fast and responsive. And it's also like, really, really cool for a lot of people who, like that's how they play basketball. Like they have to play that way. And, that'll be great representation for them. A
Yeah.
lot of people were probably really, really happy about that. It's just cool to see a really creative idea done in a respectful way. But like I said, I don't really know if I'm going to be purchasing this unless I see something that really more aligns with that more fast and responsive. And that I actually do love that art style. Just, I don't know. I haven't been wowed by it yet.
hmm It was cool that you can basically dunk. Like you can like ride up the slope of the court and like do spins in the air and then dunk the basketball. I did like that. So maybe I need like more stylish movement and stuff like that to get me. But let's go ahead, talk about some third-party games. Nintendo then went into a slew of third-party reveals. Some of them expected: Elden Ring, Hades 2, Street Fighter 6. These are all games we talked about that we would be expecting. Split Fiction as well. So it was nice to see Joseph Fares come out and say Split Fiction's coming to Switch 2 at launch for that one especially. But I know you probably have some thoughts on Elden Ring. What did you think about how it looked?
Man, so obviously, like I said, I was in the car listening to it, and when I heard that Elden Ring theme
Yeah.
kick in, she's like, "Long have I watched the lands between," and I just went, "What?" Like, initially, I'm like, "New game, hello," but then I realized it was third parties, and yeah, this is awesome. Definitely a really well optimized game. Really great way for them to take advantage of this new hardware and Elden Ring to tap into another console, which really hasn't been tapped into. They've never done Nintendo except for Dark Souls Remastered, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is going to be awesome. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up a third time. Actually, no. Who am I kidding? I'm going to pick it up a third time.
I was gonna say you got to double dip, triple dip. Come on, this is your
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. So yeah, I think this was awesome, man. Love Elden Ring, best game of all time.
Yeah, this is a great get. I mean, it felt inevitable because the relationship with Bandai Namco is so strong with Nintendo. But great to see it. We also got confirmation of like some broader appeal games. FIFA, Madden, Hogwarts Legacy. the new Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake that's coming out. So I think that's great to get that broader appeal. I don't think those are necessarily system sellers, but when people have the console in hand and they want to play something new, or they want to play like the annual release of Madden, whatever, why not buy on Switch 2 as opposed to whatever else you might buy it on? So like that's the kind of games Nintendo definitely wants to have in their arsenal. Other games that were noteworthy: Hitman World of Assassination. We got confirmation of a new 007 game, just titled Project 007.
Cool.
No gameplay or anything, but I mean, 007, they've had some great games, of course, GoldenEye, that kind of stuff. So excited to see more on that one. Other stuff that caught my eye: Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. I've always been so interested in the Yakuza series, but I've never dove into it. I like the way this looked on Switch 2. This looked really competent and capable of a port here. So this might be a jumping off point for me, I'd say.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are in the same boat, especially with with any franchise. Like, you're just on the edge of trying something, and then you're like, well, all right, I think it's time to give it a shot. Boom, you're like a lifelong fan. I love that feeling. Yakuza is also one of those series for me. Just haven't gotten into it yet. But that pirate game, have you seen that, Ryan?
Yeah,
That
people
looks
love it.
amazing. I think that'll be my jumping off point at some point.
I think we got to talk about Yakuza like a pirate in one of our podcast episodes. Yeah,
It
that's a
looks
little
great.
reference right there. But all right, so other stuff they showed off. So real quick, back to Street Fighter 6. They actually showed off some amiibo for Street Fighter 6 that are going to come out. That very
Oh.
quickly glanced over. They showed off 3 amiibo, but also showed off another like 20 amiibo cards for compatibility with Street Fighter 6, which was like awesome. How many third-party amiibo do we get, especially in
Wait,
2025?
Ryan,
Go
what's an
ahead.
amiibo card? Is that different than a normal amiibo?
Yeah, so the normal amiibo is like your, figurine, your statue.
Yeah.
But an amiibo card is literally like a Pokemon card or whatever other card you want. But it has like NFC functionality. So it's cheaper. It's cheaper to produce, cheaper to buy.
Oh, I got you. I
But
got you.
it can help, if you wanted to collect them and unlock some goodies in Street Fighter 6, you could, that kind of stuff.
Got you.
So they do the same thing with Animal Crossing. But
Oh, that's
yeah,
right. I have those. I'm a moron. I totally forgot about that.
so cool to see amiibo support. Another game that got amiibo support, which was confirmed after the direct, but we got confirmation of a Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment game from Nintendo, gonna launch this winter. This would be a warrior style game that is going to go through the story leading up to Tears of the Kingdom. And I saw this and I got excited for Zelda, and then I saw it was a kind of a Warriors game and I got a little bit deflated. I'm okay with the Warriors formula. I've played Age of Calamity. I have Hyrule Warriors, the first one, on my backlog. But I don't know. Another Warriors game. I don't know how many people really play these. It's cool, I guess, but I'm just like a little like, do we need to have a Warriors game spin-off for every Zelda mainline game? I'm not sure if we need that many. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this seems to be so. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent, and this is something that I'll get into later with another game on our radar that I'm very very excited for. It seems as though a lot of companies are doing lots of side games to entertain the community between big games, which I think is a good thing. Like I think that's a good thing. I like having these smaller in scope but enjoyable games in the franchise that I want to consume, right? This feels like another one of those because we just got the Zelda game, where you play as Zelda. I can't remember the name of that game. Help.
Echoes of Wisdom.
Echoes of Wisdom. Now we have this Hyrule Warriors, and that's going to push us through. At least for the people who enjoy it. I'm probably not going to get it. I'm just not a big Warriors formula guy. It'll tide us over in terms of content for the general majority of the community, and then we get the big game. It seems like a very common thing, and I thought it looked really good. Like this sold me more than this is Age of Imprisonment. This, this sold me more than the other ones. Like it looked really
Yeah.
pretty. They're gonna have great hardware to work with, so yeah, looks really good. Don't know if I'll get it.
I think it is like a good showcase for the Switch too, though. I mean, it's
True.
such a hardware intensive formula, the Warriors formula. Playing through Age of Calamity, I mean, partly why I didn't love it, I liked it, I didn't love it, was the frame rate dips were so apparent, and it was just so jarring and took me out of it.
Yeah.
It's going to be nice to have the Switch 2 hardware and hopefully have a stable frame rate in a game like this, where it's like you're slashing through thousands of enemies at a time. If the performance dips like every time you're slashing, it kind of like deflates it for me. So I mean, it sounds like there's definitely some fans out there that want this. I'll probably pick it up at some point, but on sale. I don't think I'll get it at launch unless I'm like really thirsty for another Switch 2 game. If there's nothing really in between, who knows? So,
Yeah.
but
So
another. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say the next one really caught me off guard.
Yeah,
Way
dude.
off guard.
Yeah, I feel like we could talk about this one for a bit. So we got confirmation that Nintendo Switch Online is adding GameCube to the service. Now this is going to be exclusive to the Switch 2. So sorry, all the Switch 1 players, but if you're upgrading to Switch 2, GameCube is being added to NSO. The games they showed off, I think this is a really solid first selection. So at launch, you're getting Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, F-Zero GX, and then further down the line in the near future, you're getting Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Super Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion, and Pokemon Coliseum. So I think that's a very fantastic selection. We really need Super Smash Bros. Melee.
We do.
I feel like that needed to be in the launch window for this service. But starting with Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, F-Zero ZX, really good selection for the first three, I would say.
Yeah, agreed. Wind Waker, definitely going to be playing that for the first time. I never played Wind Waker.
Yeah, dude. Oh, dude, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and F-Zero, that's going to be a classic one to be like, yo, you want to play games tonight? We'll just boot up the NSO, go play F-Zero. Because F-Zero is something that's also, I've been right on the outside of, never played any of the games. Like, that seems like a super fun one. And Pokemon XD, like for me, Pokemon on the GameCube is sacred. That is sacred. Because I played it with friends all the time. Pokemon Coliseum, I will crush you. I can't beat you in most any games we play together, but I will crush you in Pokemon Coliseum.
Oh, damn. All right. I accept. So I like this launch. So F-Zero GX, I could see you getting very into. I'm not going to lie. It is a hard racing game, and it takes some dedication. It'll take multiple hours to really get a firm handle of the controls and how to control the car and the map layout. So it's not for the faint of heart. It does take a little bit. It's a steep learning curve. You got to learn quick. But once you master it, man, it flows like butter. And I don't think I've fully mastered it. I feel like I'm like 70% of the way there, and I need to dedicate more time. But I can tell, like, as I was getting better and better, I was enjoying it more and more. I just kind of fell off playing it when I was trying it out. But man, F-Zero GX is a good time. And do not sleep on Soul Calibur 2. I don't know if you played this, Adonis. Okay. Soul Calibur 2 is a fantastic weapon-based 3D fighting game. This is I don't think I've played another Soul Calibur game, but a lot of people say this is like the peak of the series right here. And in the GameCube version, you can actually play as Link from The Legend of Zelda, which is just a nice little bonus. I can't believe Nintendo was like, hey, here's our most prized IP. You can put them in your fighting game. They don't really do that anymore. So,
no, they don't. Maybe it's a hint for the future. That'd be cool. But yeah, and also this game holds up graphically very well. I cannot believe how beautiful it is.
It is beautiful. And imagine this, Soul Calibur 2 and Soul Calibur 1, when they came out for the Dreamcast. Soul Calibur 1 was, I think, 1996 or 97, Dreamcast was 98. So imagine going from like Mario 64 in 1996, buying a Dreamcast in 98, and playing Soul Calibur 1, which looks just like this. Like, incredible leap. A real technical showcase for the time. And yes, still holds up really well because the art direction is so solid. Like, you got like bright colors, like beautiful character designs, and the combat's really good, man. Like, the combo system's really fun. It plays like Tekken, where you can kind of like move within the foreground background as you're like fighting your opponent. It's a good time. So don't sleep on Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah, no, I won't. I'll be trying out all three. I'm paying for it, right? I might as well.
May as well. And then Every other game they've announced, I'm like, heck yeah, that's a great get for the service. Shout out Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. This is going to be on my radar. It's
True.
already been on my radar, but I was going to play it through nefarious means. But I mean, if it's already getting added to the NSO service, I might as well just play it there once it comes out. So, all right. Well, other games they showed off. There was just so many third-party games, Adonis. Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 is confirmed to be launching with Nintendo Switch 2.
You did it, guys. You made
Excuse
it.
me.
You made it to Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4. You made it, baby. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, dude. This reveal was great, and I feel the same about Hollow Knight Silksong. This presentation had two very high profile "Where is this game?" kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 is coming at launch. Hollow Knight's just confirmed for 2025. We'll see if that holds up. But really cool to see. Really cool to see both those games being announced in a presentation like this, where you might not always expect like a game that's just been lost to show up, but they have. So pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And it's funny. The entire world, everyone watching that Nintendo Direct anyway, all their hearts stopped because the stream actually froze and we couldn't see
Yes.
anything that was happening. And it is so poetic that Silksong fans waited so long. All hope was lost. No one believed that that game even existed at this point. And finally, when they get some little itty bit of reprieve, it's not shown. It's not shown because of a stream bug.
And I don't know why they did this, but Silksong was in the sizzle reel. Like they're doing a sizzle reel where each game gets like 5 seconds of gameplay, no like gameplay audio. So my screen is frozen on whatever this game was, Survival Kids, which was the least interesting game they showed today. And I'm frozen there, and I'm hearing the music for the sizzle reel. I have no idea what they're showing. And I didn't realize until like 2 hours later that they showed off Hollow Knight Silksong, which is like, again, like a game people have been wondering where it is since 2018. Like that's when it was shown off and demoed. Like people were playing gameplay of it in 2018. It's been missing. So very, very interesting choice. But man, what a time to get a really bad stream glitch. Where
I'm having
everyone's
trouble
frozen on.
controlling myself. It's just so funny. Imagine like not even knowing, like just checking, like being done and not ever having seen that Silksong was there. And like it's just so funny. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that. And the other one that really stuck out to me as also really funny is Borderlands 4. I don't know who they got showing off those games, but they just found the most, take this with a grain of salt, the most cringy human beings. Like, it just feels like a dude who really wants to sell the game, but doesn't exactly know what it's all about. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
dude. I hear what you're saying, but I'm pretty sure that's like the lead designer or like the director of the game. He's a quirky looking dude and he dresses funny. But I guess
Oh,
it's kind of the Borderlands style,
okay.
right?
So it's like he's doing it on purpose. That's just how he is.
Yeah, I guess on purpose because it's just yeah, it is how he is. You know.
Okay,
I don't
well,
think it's
that's
a bit though.
okay. Yeah, all right. So that, well, then I take that back. That was not very nice of me. I don't want
Not
to.
nice, Adonis.
No, I don't want to be like the bad kind of journalism. I want to be like the good kind of journalism. I apologize. Borderlands 4, I will not be playing that. I just won't. I'm not really interested in it.
Yeah, I kind of missed the first two when they came by, so I think the franchise just kind of swept me by. But yeah, other games announced. We had like a couple games like again broader appeal, good for them. WWE 2K, NBA 2K. I'm not gonna play them, but it's cool that they're there. Civilization 7 is gonna be a launch title, and it has mouse support. So it's also it's already on Switch One. So they confirmed they have an upgrade option if you already have it on Switch One, which is cool. I like that it has mouse support. That was my first thought when I saw the mouse, was not necessarily what Nintendo was going to do with it, but what third parties are going to do with it, what PC games we would get converted to Switch 2 games. So cool to see like developers kind of really taking the reins on that.
Totally.
We also got like some smaller games, Enter the Gungeon 2, Star Seeker, and then we had Cyberpunk 2077 confirmed, and it is a launch title. And I thought it looked pretty solid graphically. some of these third-party games, like you can tell, like it's been like downgraded a good bit for Switch 2, which is like maybe another conversation. But Cyberpunk 2077, I thought that looked really solid off the bat.
Yeah. And it's a real testament to how much love they poured back into that game. I really do think that the bad time for Cyberpunk 2077 is a raw output of developer crunch. I just think they did not have enough time to
Absolutely.
optimize. They needed it. They wanted the money, saw big dollar signs and released it. But they didn't give up. And Cyberpunk is one of the most immersive games I've ever played, up there with, if not even more than Skyrim. Like, just super ultra immersive, really cool external content with the show, which I highly recommend watching. The Netflix special for
Oh, I've
Cyberpunk.
heard it's fantastic.
It's
Yeah.
very good, and you do not need to see a lick of the game. You could just watch it on its own. It's like a 10 out of 10 story and visual wise. But yeah, the game is performing really, really well. I don't think it'll be in the 60 frames. I think it'll be in the 30. But games are let's hit the brakes. Games are playable at 30 frames per second. It's okay. This is a handheld console. Relax. You will survive. So yeah, cool.
No, I think that's a fair point. So part of my concern when I saw, I didn't think like some of these ports looked absolutely magnificent, but the only reason I'm concerned about that is if we're already going to have this conversation, and maybe this is a tangent, but if people are already going to have this conversation, well, the Switch 2 is not as powerful as the PS5, or, look at these games not looking as good on the PS5. It's concerning to me, but it's also like it's a portable console. There's going to be concessions. You're able to take Elden Ring on the go. It's not going to look as good as it does on your PS5. It's just the nature of the beast. So I'm a little conflicted. Like, part of me is concerned that this is already happening and like games are already not looking as great as I would like them to. But part of me is also like, look, it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid console. It's just gonna look like that.
Yeah.
So, but more games to cover. So, Final Fantasy VII Remake is also coming, and I think that's like the last one I would want to do a quick glance over. Very noteworthy game. Cool for people that have been looking forward to that. Now, Adonis, were you expecting at all a new From Software IP to be confirmed to be coming to Switch 2? The Duskbloods. And I'm not going to lie, this game looks incredible. This looks so cool. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of like gameplay, but everything was clearly in engine, and the setting just looked so sublime. It was like a mix of like gothic and a mix of steampunk with like some tech that doesn't exist, like a flying metal suit that takes you around. Like, whoa, this game looks cool.
I gotta calm down. Okay. This is
Calm
a lot.
down, sir.
This was a spiritual experience for me. This to me is as close as we can get to a Bloodborne 2. I was literally in the parking lot of my job, and I had to like stop driving when I saw that. Like, I just stopped right where I was in an empty parking lot and was like, there's no way. There's no way. Oh my god. Oh my god. Just over and over and over again. Like, I'm by myself in the car, like just talking to myself, talking through it. Everything, the moon, the blood, all of the game systems that they've used in the past, all of the animations they've used in the past, specifically in Bloodborne. This is as close as they can get, and it's what I think is From Software's way of putting a public sign like, this is a good idea. Do Bloodborne again, for the love of God. Because this game's going to sell really well. It 100% is. And Sony's going to be like, ooh, I want more money. And they're going to, maybe, this could be, all right, I'm coping and the game isn't even out yet. I'm going to calm down. This really does look awesome. Here's the thing, though. PvPvE game which is a little bit of a letdown for me. I like raw single player story games RPGs with From Software. That's just the way I prefer to play their games. But I haven't played Elden Ring Night Rain yet. I may really like that, which kind of is like that, and not exactly. It's supposed to be a few players in a zone destroying monsters all around the map, and then whoever is last wins. Kind of, I hate to say this, battle royale esque. But this is From Software. I am going to give them their respect that they have earned, and I'm going to look forward to this game a lot. I also really like the T-Rex.
I like that too. It was like just the upper body of a T-Rex. It looked kind of crazy.
Yeah, so that's
Uh,
actually an animation from Elden Ring. That's kind of how faith spells work. You can literally become a dragon, but only the top head part of the dragon. Like, it's a
okay.
really cool way to do the animation.
That's cool what you said about the Bloodborne stuff. That was totally lost on me. I didn't realize like they shared some of the same animations and like some of the same themes. That's cool. Like a spiritual successor of Bloodborne, because for whatever reason that is never released again. I don't know if it's in like IP hell or whatever, but
It is.
yeah, From Software is just like I'll just do it myself. We're just gonna make a spiritual successor, and we're gonna go and do it on the Switch instead of on PlayStation. So that's
Which
kind of
is
cool.
crazy, by the way.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. So I kind of picture this will come to other platforms, but it's cool that Nintendo was able to reveal it. Um, and it looks really good. I really appreciated the setting of it. I was just like enamored by the everything around it. Kind of vampire esque, but also steampunk esque was so cool.
Yeah, and I also just happen to be doing a D&D campaign in this like exact setting, so it's just so exciting.
Yeah, dude, awesome. So all right, we ended the show with two more first party announcements, and both were pretty banging in my opinion.
Oh
So
yeah.
I have some concerns about some, but I'll get to that. But we got confirmation that in 2025 we are getting a new Kirby Air Ride game, and it is titled Kirby
Yes.
Air Riders. And it is developed by none other than Masahiro Sakurai, the developer of Kirby Air Ride back on the GameCube, the developer of the Smash
Yes.
series. You know him, you love him. This is a really cool announcement. I never thought they'd do another Kirby Air Ride. I thought if anything, they would just like remaster it, or now they could drop it on NSO, GameCube. But man, to get a full blown sequel to this game is really something cool that I never expected. I wish we saw some gameplay, but the teaser that we got was cool. And like all you really need to know is a new Kirby Air Ride, and if you've played Kirby Air Ride, you know how cool that is.
Yeah, I love this game. This is the Kirby game that I have the most experience in, most time in. Don't know why it was Air Ride. It's just that I happened to have it with a friend, and we really loved playing it. I just loved all the different riders. What are they called? Stars? I don't really know, but
Yeah.
I loved collecting the little pieces to create the really really good rider and go super fast and fly all around, and I just loved that game. This is super charming, and I had a feeling that's what it was going to be when it focused on just exactly where the engine would be on the star on Kirby Star anyway. Um, and I was also I kind of felt bad for this game. I would have been more hype in the moment, but I was still like on cooldown for after I saw the
Yeah.
Dust Bloods trailer, and I was stunned. I was stun locked after that. But this is awesome. And when I heard Sakurai, that's when it really woke me back up. Like, oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude. This was a cool announcement. Like I said, it would have been cool to see gameplay, but just the concept alone that this game exists is really cool. I recognized like as Kirby was falling on the warp star, like I'm like, "Oh, awesome, new Kirby game. This is so cool." My first thought was like Kirby near the launch of a console. That's kind of unusual. Usually he's like a little, Kirby games come a little later into this lifespan. But then the jet engines pop out of the warp star, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're doing it. They're doing a Kirby Air Ride game or a remaster or what? And then it was confirmed that it's a sequel. Really cool, man. I know it's really like I think of my cousins Steven and Daniel. Shout out Steven and Daniel. They love
Shout out.
Kirby Air Ride on the GameCube, so I'm sure they're excited for this.
So
But yeah, then we get the last reveal of the show. We get the reveal of a new 3D Donkey Kong game coming to Switch 2 this July. Adonis, your prayers have been answered. My prayers have been answered. A new Donkey Kong game, just like we predicted, just like we knew. But more importantly, it's just coming, and it looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty cool. There's some things I have concerns about, but that's probably just because I'm a diehard Donkey Kong fan. But effectively, it's just a game where you're running around just destroying everything. Like
Yeah.
I rewatched the trailer 3 times, and my halfway through the third time, I'm just like, holy crap! Donkey Kong is just destroying like just all of the floor and all of the wall and just all of the rock everywhere is just being destroyed, and it was kind of humorous.
It was. So when I remember when I said that the Dust Bloods trailer was a spiritual experience, well, this was like seeing a deity itself. Just absolute divine intervention. So anyway, this
Nice.
is just crazy.
What do you got there? For anyone who's just listening audio, Adonis is just eating a banana, which I can fully respect. That needs to happen.
I literally said I
So,
wasn't gonna do that too.
hey,
This
it's
to
all right,
me,
man. I got anyone on video. You can tell I got Donkey Kong 64 playing in the background because I'm just excited. This is just
yeah,
cool. It's cool to get a new Donkey Kong game. My only big concerns is just like it looks like a little too goofy for what I would like. Like the artistic direction is very simple, and that's probably because there's so many particle effects because you're just destroying stuff the whole time. Um, so maybe they had to simplify the art direction, whatever. I would have liked something that looked a little more detailed. I would have liked if Donkey Kong wasn't using this new design. I really like his Donkey Kong Country design. I don't think they ever really needed to change it. But they are in fact going with his new design that is akin to the Mario movie, akin to the new Mario Kart here. Which I'm just like, I'd rather they not. It probably just needs to grow on me. I need more time with it. I also don't know why he's wearing pants. Like, why is he wearing like overalls? He's just supposed to wear a tie. He's just strictly business. But oh well.
this strictly that's a good one. Yeah, I actually gotta disagree. I actually really like his new design. They made him more like muscular, which I'm a personal trainer in real life. Like muscles my game. It's kind of cool to see him a little more jacked. I just think it's just a overall a more fun design. But to each their own, right? I adore the original, of course. Do I even need to say that? But yeah, I like the new design. I think you're absolutely right. With all the particle effects, they're gonna make this one a looker, I think. Maybe not a
Mm.
long one, maybe not a super deep one, which that's fine. It's more 3D Donkey Kong. That's enough to that's how down bad I am. That's how down bad we are. Doesn't matter what the game is. More 3D Donkey Kong is that's a W. So
Yeah.
this to me looks like a lot of fun. I loved the background track. Oh my god, it
Yeah.
was so good.
Yeah, dude.
So
Good point on the background track. A lot of these trailers had fantastic music. This one especially. Um, but I'm happy this exists. I'm curious who's developing it. I'm assuming it's in house. Uh, you don't have Retro Studios is in house, but historically they've done Country Returns and Tropical Freeze. I think like if they weren't available for a 2D game and you decide, all right, instead of that, let's do a 3D game and we'll give it to Nintendo EPD. That is a fantastic choice. I mean, like basically you're gonna get the Mario Odyssey team developing this game. And honestly, that's what this game reminded me of. It reminded me a lot of Mario Odyssey. And I know that might be a weird comparison, but I don't know if you got the same vibes. But just the general tomfoolery of it was just like Odyssey vibes.
yeah, I think I totally agree. And we may be kind of reducing this game in size just because it's been so long. This could be the big game that Nintendo has been working on. It kind of lines up, doesn't it? Because we kind of expected a Mario thing. I mean, we got Mario
Mhm.
Kart, but like we expected something big, and this was the last game in the
Yeah,
entire direct. That
this
is
was the anchor.
Yeah, this was the anchor, and the anchor always pulls the most in these directs, right? So this may be something way bigger than we expected, and it's the first trailer, so it's going to be very, short, but we still got some gameplay. I mean, we did, right? If I remember correctly, it's been a
Oh
few
yeah,
hours since I've seen it. So, okay, yeah. So we got gameplay. That's, man, I was not expecting that. And we literally said, this is not coming, but we're still going to hope for it. But it came anyway.
yeah, and they confirmed it's July. July is right around the corner. So like
Yes.
it, I mean the way they position this as the last game they show off in the direct, the release date so close to the front of the release for the console itself. This is clearly Nintendo positioning this as like the big single player game that they want to launch with. I've talked to before. Historically, Nintendo loves to launch a console with a multiplayer game and a single player game ready within a month or two of the console, right? Mario Kart, obviously the multiplayer game. This is the single player game. This is clearly how they're positioning it. I was expecting 3D Mario. I think you were too. I think a lot of people were. That did not come, and that is totally okay because we got a 3D Donkey Kong game. We've only ever had one before on the N64, and that's kind of hit or miss for a lot of people, that game in particular. This looks nothing like that. This looks completely original and new. And Nintendo also has a knack for their first trailer is like, here's the game, here's what it looks like, here's like the movement, here's like some of that. But the second trailer, it's like, all right, here's the hook. Like here's the selling point. They did that with Odyssey back in the day. They do that with a lot of their games.
Mario Kart
So
World?
before July, yeah, absolutely. Mario Kart's a great example. Before July, we're gonna get a second trailer that's gonna be like, here's the hook. Like here's why he's destroying all this stuff. Here's like some incredible ability that's like the selling point of the game. So there's definitely more to come. I'm already like sold, honestly. Like this, like it's a Donkey. Not to simplify it too much, it's a Donkey Kong game, man, and it also just looks incredible. So I already know I'm picking it up.
Yeah, is it going to be Seth Rogen or not? Tell me right now.
Oh gosh, please no, please no.
Could you imagine? I know, we
That
already heard him.
I think that's why I don't like the design, not the tangent, but I think I associate this new design with that voice, which is like it's fine for a movie, but now I'm like seeing it in other media, and now it's coming into video games. I'm just like, I
Make
don't
it
know.
stop.
It'll grow on me. But yeah, what a great end to the presentation, man.
That was a great direct. In fact, I think I stated it. This is the best video game what's the word? Event of all
Reveal.
time. Yeah, cuz
Wow.
we literally had 3 high level like long time returns. 4 if you can really argue it with Dustbloods, the From Software game. That was just, oh my gosh, that was more than I could ever ask for in one event. And I'm not even a fan of the other two. Like that's just the other two being obviously Deltarune and Hollow Knight Silksong. Just an awesome direct. But there is a very big but at the end of that because literally after the direct, we caught on to some information from Nintendo via their website and other outside means about pricing.
Hmm.
Not
Yeah,
good
let's
on
get
that
into it.
front.
So, kind of bizarre to me that they did not reveal the price in the trailer or in the direct itself. That you would think that's like, a must have to show up there. Not in the direct itself. So immediately I like started like searching online. I'm sure they just released it in a press release, whatever. And yeah, it's on their website. So let's talk about the console itself before we get into any sort of price of games. But for the console itself, just the console and all the accessories that would come with, it's going to be 450. And there's also a second SKU for 500 that will include Mario Kart World pre-downloaded on the Switch. So I didn't really expect them to have a Mario Kart bundle. I thought they would just be like, nope, just go buy it yourself. But they are doing a Mario Kart bundle. It's priced at 500. The other one, no game, but it's 450. Honestly, I don't know who would get the 450 one because like if you're buying this at launch, you're probably picking up Mario Kart. So interesting decision there, but uh, it's a little more expensive than I was hoping for. I think like 400 was the kind of site I was targeting, but 450, I mean, I'm not super bothered by 450 or 500 if it's a console that I'm going to be playing for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you know?
Yeah.
What do you feel about the hardware itself?
I think that it is more of an improvement on the hardware than I thought it would be, but it does
Yeah.
not track to something that costs $500, which is PS5. I believe there's a
Mhm.
version of the PS5 that is $500. It should be nowhere near that price tag for the original. This like just talking rare raw performance of the console. I don't think it should be anywhere near 500, but it does have the handheld version and all the extra accessories that the PS5 doesn't have. So like you could argue that, right? That's totally fine. And it's gonna be something that I will be getting. I think that is within my range. But and if I may move on, include the next price thing that I have a huge problem with. The
Yep.
pricing of Mario Kart World is $80. And this is unconfirmed. This is not at all confirmed yet, but the word down the grapevine is that the physical edition will be $90. What do you think every other game company is going to do now?
Yeah. Yeah, that is concerning. So on Nintendo's website, they are MSRPing it for $80. However, on the European website, they're MSRPing it for 75 for physical and 66 pounds for digital. So there's already a divide between physical and digital, but not in the way you might expect. You would expect maybe digital is just cheaper than physical, but the way it's actually moving is physical is more expensive than digital. You know, it's not like we're getting a decrease in price for digital. It's simply an increase in price for physical for the UK right now. So like we still need it like some sort of hard confirmation of what this US price is going to be. But it's right there on the website, $80 MSRP for Mario Kart World. Unsure if that's digital or physical. If there's a price difference and physical is now going to be 90, that is very concerning. I hope that is not the standard. I hope they are just charging up the wazoo for Mario Kart because I know people are going to buy it and they're going to update this game for years and years. But it is very concerning and kind of disappointing for me that we're already doing 80. Every Switch game by Nintendo besides Tears of the Kingdom was $60. Tears of the Kingdom was 70, and most stores were MSRPing it like very quickly. They're MSRPing it for less than 60. You know, I think very quickly within a week or two or three, it was already on sale for less than 60, and basically it's been at that for the rest of its shelf life here.
Yeah.
So pretty concerning that we're already in the $80, $90 range. Now, the new Donkey Kong game is priced at 70. Again, is that physical, digital? Who knows? But if this is going to be the standard for like what they want to charge for like one of these evergreen games or like the once a year system seller kind of game, very concerning.
Yeah, this is concerning for two reasons actually. One, obviously, being the price hike out of nowhere, which is above the $70 that we just are not even used to. Just kind of started happening out of nowhere. Um, yes, games got bigger. I'm joking, but the other bad thing is that they didn't include it with the event. I think that needs mentioning because
Mm.
they knew we would like it. And they what they may be doing is, like you said, maybe a little more maybe a little less nefarious than what the way I make it out to be. It could just be like, yes, we put an $80 value into this game and we're going to be like, oh my god, this is the best Mario Kart ever. There's so much here that yes, I would have paid $80 for this. But you know, that's neither here nor there. I really do think that them including it after the event was just a gross move, you know. And we're already kind of upset from $70 games. Just to go up again is just kind of gross.
Yeah, if they were like proud of the price point, they would have included it in the direct. You know, I don't think they're necessarily like trying to be sneaky or whatever, but like they clearly, it's not a selling point. The price, you know, it's not an attractive price. for either the hardware or the software now. So $80, very concerning. I'm very, very concerned that like this will start a pattern of publishers being like, oh, Nintendo did $80 for Mario Kart. Why don't we do $80 for the next Call of Duty? Or hey, we're Rockstar. GTA 6 is going to be a defining game for this generation. Why don't we do 80, 90, or 100? Like, why not? People are going to buy it, you know? So, people are going to speak with their wallets. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not going to buy Mario Kart World. I'm sorry. It looks incredible. it looks like it's $80 worth of value. I'm going to be playing this for years, but I hate it. I wish it was 70. I hope for some reason this is an error, but I really doubt it. If every other Switch game is 70 and this is the one game in this generation, Nintendo's going to charge 80 or 90, I guess I can stomach it, but I really, really don't love how we're just jumping right from 60 to 80. I think that's not too great.
Yeah. And to kind of end this conversation off on a more positive way, the $70 price tag for the Donkey Kong game, that says a lot, doesn't it? This ain't no throwaway kind of like side Donkey Kong game. This is a Donkey Kong game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can't wait, man. It's just I needed to end on that. I couldn't have it end on the pricing discussion. I'm so excited for Donkey Kong, man.
I know a lot of people probably were not looking forward to $70 games, and I hope, honestly, I was kind of expecting it, and like at this point, I'm like okay with it being the standard. It's, publishers have been doing $70 games for the last like 3 to 4 years. It's just kind of inevitable. But $80, come on, let's slow down a little bit, Nintendo. Let's rein it in. Who knows, man? Maybe there's more to this than we realize. Maybe like with $80 you get, free updates for, the next 3 or 4 years. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not trying to be apologetic for Nintendo. I don't love this move at all, but realistically, it's Mario Kart. I'm going to buy it. It's worth $80 to me. I'm going to play it for years and years. Would love if this was not the case though. But all right, not to end too much on a downer. This was still an incredible direct.
Yeah.
Incredible console reveal. Like I'm sold. I was sold after Mario Kart. I was telling myself I'm not sold until I see a game that I need to play. I need to play Mario Kart, right? And I need to play that DK game. So yeah, I'm sold. I'm probably a day oneer. We'll wait and see what the pre-orders look like, and if I want to pre-order or try to pick up in person that day, that kind of thing.
Yeah, me too. I think I'm on the edge of day oneer myself, if funds permit. Anyway, so it's got a lot of.
That's the only thing I gotta convince the wife here. No, she's okay with it.
Yeah,
but I will.
I imagine
I
she
will
is. She'll
be
probably play
responsible
with you.
with it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Good.
true too. So, all right. Anything else you want to talk about? They talked a little bit about the Pro controller. I'm assuming all of these controllers have Hall effect sticks. Like if they have Joy-Con drift again, that would be detrimental. I think there's a 0% chance they don't have Hall effect sticks. Like, that kind of stuff. Anything else you want to mention?
No, I think that covers it all. I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, man. It's going to be good. So why don't we start wrapping up the episode? But before we do, let's get into what we've been playing recently. We also have our new tradition of recommending a game for the month that we must complete. So we can do either one. Why don't we do the game we must complete first? So last month, we touched on Portal 2. Both of us did a playthrough of Portal 2, and we did the co-op together. And incredible game. We talked about it on the show enough, but that was fun to do. And so you have access to my backlog. I have access to part of your backlog. Is there a specific game, Adonis, you are recommending or requiring I beat in April?
Homework is mandatory, Ryan. There is a game I am requiring you to finish. Is first Half-Life 2. We just did Portal 2. You got to hit another Valve game in the 2 range right afterwards. It's just the perfect game to play like next. You got to play that one. The
Yes,
other
dude,
one,
I'm about it.
yeah,
Oh, you got another one?
I do, and this is a game that we could potentially play together, which is why I mean, technically we can play Half-Life 2 together, can't we? Can we? I
I
don't
think they have
know.
multiplayer, but I don't think the campaign is multiplayer.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if that is, but like, not necessarily a campaign game, but I've always thought that so you have never played Pal World before, have you?
I have not.
So, I thought that this would just be like, oh, this is kind of funny. The gimmick would wear out. Oh boy, was I wrong. And I've always been curious to see what that game is like with friends. And I think it's cheap. It just got a huge free update. Uh, and it's something that would be really fun to play with a friend. So if you maybe that's not on your backlog, also, is it? I don't think it is.
No.
That's just the game I want to play that I think you would like playing anyway. So yeah, that would keep that on your radar. If that ever goes on sale, I would love to play that with you.
I'll keep it on my radar, but if I'm gonna choose one, I'm gonna choose Half-Life 2
Agreed.
because I've been thinking about getting around to that game lately, actually. I played through Half-Life 1, but I probably was like an hour or two before the end, and I just for whatever reason just fell off. I just couldn't finish it. But I might as well just like pick up with Half-Life 2 because
Yeah.
I've heard great things. And Half-Life 1 was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. So
Yeah, and
all
really
right.
enjoy the physics system with Half-Life 2. It is fascinating. There's a documentary on it. Highly recommend watching. It's on YouTube.
Okay. Sweet. All right, so you gave me a list of a couple things on your backlog. You gave me a list of Cyberpunk, Doom Eternal, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Subnautica, Baldur's Gate 3. But your assignment, Adonis, is Baldur's Gate 3 for
Oh,
April. And I don't know how far you are into the game. This is like an 80-hour game, so you
what have I done?
don't feel like you need to do this game if you're not even close. But that is the one I think you would enjoy the most of these five. Maybe I'm wrong.
Every time I go to play that game, it gets longer. Every time.
Yeah, they
It
keep
just
updating.
well, not even that. It's just that I go in the wrong direction. I do
Ah,
other things other than the main story, and it's so hard because I'm a D&D player in real life, obviously, like I mentioned,
yeah.
and it's just so fun and really deep, almost too deep because I keep getting lost in hundreds of hours. I'm only in Act 2. I'm not even in Act 3 yet.
How many apps are there?
3. So, but they're long. They're long, long acts. But I don't blame you for choosing it. If I were you, that's what I would have chosen.
I chose it because I knew you're a big D&D guy, and I assumed if you had it on your list, you may. Yeah, I was hoping you weren't recommending it for me to recommend if you were at the very beginning. So
Yeah,
if
okay.
it's realistic, that is your assignment for April. You can let me know if it's not realistic, though.
I always do my homework, except when I
All
don't.
right. Excellent. Yeah, I'll be playing a lot of Steam Deck in April, I think. Trying to get through some games before Switch 2 here. So
Yeah.
awesome. All right. Well, we got our games. Half-Life 2 for myself, Baldur's Gate
Woo.
3 for you. By the end of April, these games will be done.
I've always wanted to do video games as homework. Finally.
Finally. Finally. All right. Why don't we get into what we've been playing recently? I've just been playing Red Dead Redemption 2. That's kind of all I've been playing, honestly. Still enjoying it. I'm like plateauing a little bit. I'm in Act 3 or Part 3, whatever they call it, Chapter 3. And it's still good. I'm kind of just like enjoying the world. I love to just play like a degenerate. I love to just like kill people and have their bodies on my horse while I like ride up to other people and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And then they just get freaked out.
That is so
That's my
you.
style of play. I want to stick it out though because I know the story is really good and I feel like probably very soon it's going to ramp up. You know.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're at in the story, and I felt the same way. But oh Lord, it's coming, and it still got some even after it does that. It's coming. Yeah, you're gonna love it.
Nice. All right. So what do you got? What do you been playing this week?
So I had an interesting week this week. I've been playing Pal World. That's kind of why I self-inserted that into the the game assignment. having some fun with that. I just found a way to extract oil, sweet oil, using my pal's hard work
Oh,
and technology. I got that oil. Just
oh,
absolute oil tycoon. Um, and also been playing Ash of Creation, obviously. I had a bit of an interest situation. So this actually gets little intense. the We had a few node wars, all of which we lost just because the players that we're playing against have ill-gotten strength gains. They have pretty much all, like, my guild leader, whom I trust, uh, says that players have exploited their stats, which we haven't. It's outlawed. You can't do that in our guild. So they absolutely destroyed our city. My beloved city of Halcyon fell, but I was there to fight regardless of the overwhelming odds. And but the night before that, they declared one of the node wars, like I mentioned. Um, the very last one, which was a siege. It was a siege of Halcyon, which the Halcyon lost, so got destroyed, quote unquote. But the node war before that, I had been the only one online, and there were 30 players, almost 40, coming after me nonstop. Like, I died 81 times and I had to fully repair my gear, just
yikes.
getting absolutely farmed. But I was having fun. Like, I was running out there and shouting like "For Halcyon" and like just being like again, just dying over and over again, but harder this time. Just like staying in RP, like having a good time, talking trash, right? It's fun. But then I got a call on my cell phone. Uh I had somebody call my phone and use my character name, which is
Ooh,
illegal. That is a doxing attempt. And this is this is a new community. This is an alpha. So like these kinds of things are going to happen. I just happen to be on the receiving end of it. Those things get moderated out, those players get kicked, but there really does seem to be a crisis of and it's really interesting because I've never played a game in alpha. There's like a crisis of identity in the Ash of Creation community. There's like the people who like, you know, playing a social sandbox game that has really deep role playing potential and like, um, you know, RP/RPG players. And then there's the players who want to turbo farm, degenerate game, min max stats, and win all the time, always, no matter what, and talk trash on your opponent. Think Call of Duty, right? Kind of that community. There's
yeah.
two, and they do not get along. I know what side I'm on, and I'm gonna keep playing that way because I love, I'm Alexander, the strongest pirate. How could I not do that? So yeah, I think, and then I forgot to mention actually, after the siege, I got another phone call. Uh, so it happened twice in a night,
Jeez.
and yeah, it's just an absolute insanity, right? I'm taking a break from that game for this week, letting the community kind of settle down, letting the police handle that investigation with those numbers. And my guild leader, who is Pirate Frickin' Software, Thor himself, literally, like he's got like 1 million followers on Twitch. Like he just had one stream with like 20,000 subs, like super popular dude, was like, DM me right now. And he actually helped me through the whole situation, made helped me handle everything,
Wow.
like without a word. Like he just did it. Like he definitely was doing something more important, but he stopped what he was doing to help me out. That was very nice of him. That's
Yeah.
my guild leader.
That's a
So
crazy situation. I mean, that's
yeah,
like, it's all fun and games. We're here talking about video games. Like this is supposed to be fun. And you're playing video games, so it's, when it gets a little over the top like that, a little unwarranted and very unnecessary.
yeah, a very unnecessary. But they're in the you know, they're in the stage of the messing around where you start finding out.
Throw them in the slammer.
The police are on to
25
you.
years dungeon.
Yeah, 2,500, 1,000 years gulag. Yeah,
1 million years dungeon.
yeah. So the other game I'm playing, Monster Hunter Wilds, this is sneaking up there as one of my favorite games of all time. Title update
Ooh.
incoming, brand new content for free, new hub area to hang out in, new monsters, arch-tempered Ray Dow. And Zioshia is coming out as an actual fight. I'm sorry, that's technically spoilers, but I'm not going to say anything other than that, so it really isn't a spoiler. Oh my god, I can't wait, man. It's going to be so much fun seeing what this game can do. I've killed every apex predator tempered, every I guess there's only one elder dragon, tempered elder dragon, Gormagala. Oh my god, or Gormagala, however it's pronounced. But yeah, just having an absolute blast in that game. Lance is so much fun. And they hit your shield, you hit them back. They hit your shield, you hit them back. You hit your shield a third time, you hit them back even harder. And then it's just over and over again. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Dang. Love it. Shout out Capcom. They're great at updating Monster Hunter games post-release with substantial content. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually a game I was surprised wasn't in the Direct, Monster Hunter Wilds. I thought that would be a shoo-in, honestly, for launch of Switch 2. So
Eventually.
yeah, I hope they're able to get it to run. I mean, maybe they're not, but it's Capcom. They did a great job with Monster Hunter Rise on Switch. I kind of expect it on Switch too, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait a little bit longer for that one.
Yeah, so that's all I've been playing this week. I think I'm gonna play Monster Hunter and leave Ashes alone for a little longer.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that's a good call. We'll see how that one plays itself out. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, any other games? Anything else you want to discuss before we wrap up the show?
No, but I have never looked forward to a summer of gaming more in a long time.
Yeah, dude. And we didn't even touch on the Switch 1 Direct. There was a whole Nintendo Switch 1 Direct a week before this one, 6 days before, and it was right after we recorded last week. So we'll touch on that a little bit next week, I think. So that's going to do it for this edition of KongaCast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode. If you like what you heard, make sure to rate 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Music and follow the show to hear more. To stay up to date on the show, make sure to follow us on Twitter @KongaCast. For all business inquiries, please email KongaCast@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers.